Welcome back, folks. Today we're going to see if this sucker will start. This is my 1937 Briggs and Stratton model. What did I say it was? It was a Model A. No, wait. Yeah, Model A. I had to think for a second. What was this, a Model A or a Model B? 1937 Model B. This is the engine that I tore down to the bare block, tore it completely apart. I had to re-ring it. I had to hone the cylinder, the whole 9 yards, or hone the bore. Replaced all the gaskets, replaced the ignition wire lead going to the coil. I had to replace the fuel cap, which was rusted beyond belief. I had to replace the fuel sediment bowl. Make a new fuel line out of copper tubing, which came out pretty nice. Replaced the muffler. The muffler was missing when I got this engine. This engine had been sitting behind my grandfather's shed for God only knows how long. And when he passed away, we were cleaning out the property and we found this. And I'm like, I'm going to do something with that someday. Turns out that was 2 months ago. And I took this engine, I bought all the parts that were missing, and I had a whole series of videos on how to get it running. So I suggest if you are interested in this sort of stuff, you can watch the start to finish video series on my channel. It's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun working on this. But today what I want to do, it's getting cold. It's now 30 degrees. We need to see if this engine will start. We need to get it warmed up, and we need to fog it with seafoam. Seafoam is, if nothing else, it is a good spray for fogging engines. And it was designed, I believe, for marine engines to prevent corrosion in cast iron bores. And that's really all it's good for. I wouldn't clean anything with it because I mean, let's be honest. The cleaning power of seafoam is merely psychosomatic, in my humble opinion. I found some videos where people actually tried to clean engines or clean parts with it, and it really doesn't do a very good job. But it is a great fogging oil. And what the fogging oil will do for this engine is it will prevent it from rusting up again for long-term storage. So we need to get this thing rolling. Get it nice and hot, and then just douche it into the carburetor. Can you say that on YouTube? Anyway, spray it into the carburetor until it dies. It'll be a smoky, fun show. I hope you all enjoy. But anyway, now I put a little bit of fuel in the tank. So we'll go ahead and open up the little shutoff valve. I'm going to let that do its thing. It's going to start filling up the carburetor bowl. And let's just see what happens. I kind of have goosebumps. Well, not really, but I really don't. I just want to see if this thing will start. Got the choke closed. There is no ignition switch on this guy. It's not how they did it back in those days. Back in the days when all a gentleman needed was an onion on his belt. And a good attitude. Let's just see what's going to happen. Ooh, she's a little cold. I could feel that. I should have brought my tripod out here. I don't know why I didn't do that. Let me put the camera somewhere, so at least you'll be able to see what the hell I'm doing. Here we go. Take 2. Yeah. It's definitely cold. This engine doesn't want to spin. You can feel the resistance on that rope. Okay, here we go. Started. Good. did run. See, usually with this engine, it's a pain in the ass. Once it stalls, it doesn't want to start again. That's been my experience with it. You've got to kind of have to be very patient. It's got a very primitive carburetor, and it's over 85 years old. So. Let's see. good as it's going to get with this engine. Very cool. So if you've been following along, you probably know why this engine had so many problems when I got it running for the first time. Well, before. So I had to tear the engine down, hone the bore, and put in new rings. And the reason why I had to go through all that trouble is because nobody has the foresight to seafoam it. That's what we're going to do right now. Okay. So what we just did there is we essentially coated the entire engine internally. Well, the bore, piston top, the intake tract, everything in seafoam. And what that's going to do for us is it's going to preserve and prevent any surface rust from forming anywhere on the bore. And that'll prevent the engine from seizing up again, like it did when I got it. So that is a good thing to do if you have an old engine like this that's going to be sitting for a while. In this case, it's going to be sitting for months. Especially if you have a cast iron bore. You don't need to do this to the aluminum small engine blocks that aren't sleeved, but you should do this. Oh my god, this stuff got everywhere. But you should do this to anything with a cast iron bore, especially one that's already been seized up and ruined from water and moisture exposure before. That is what seafoam does. I do not use this to clean intake tracts. That's not what it's for. This is for preserving engines, or fogging engines is what it's good for. But I mean when I say this engine has not run this good ever since I've had it, and this was just pure luck. I had everything dialed in just right, and she wanted to run. I mean, how sweet is that, right? So after fogging the engine for storage, long-term storage, we need to drain the fuel out of the carburetor once again. And I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to leave the fuel cut off. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is drain it from the bowl. Here, we need to get that fuel out of there. So let's do this. Man, I'm so impressed with how well it ran this time. We started off with a cold start. This engine hadn't run in months. 2 months, I say. And let's get a screwdriver. This will do. Oh, that's a Phillips. I need a flat blade. There it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up the bowl drain on the carburetor. I'm going to drain that all out. Okay, so I'm going to shut the I'm going to shut the fuel off on the tank. There we are. So the idea is when you're fogging an engine, you've got to let it, you got to spray the stuff into the intake until the engine stalls. Now this one didn't want to stop; it just wanted to keep on going. I mean, I would be too if somebody woke me up from a 2-month nap, I guess. But anyway, we wanted to make sure the engine completely stalled. You want to flood that combustion chamber while it's warm with seafoam. So now I'm going to go ahead. I think I have about this much fuel in there, maybe less. I've got to clean that. Actually, I have another one here. We're going to go ahead and on the fuel tank side, I'm going to remove. I'm going to remove the sediment bowl, like so. This gas is good. We're not going to waste it. So I'm going to swing this away. And we're going to turn the fuel on and just let it drain out. So I'm impressed. I really am. I did not expect it to run this good. It actually ran really well. The trick is, I guess, once you get the engine warm or hot, you just let it fly. You open up the choke. It may stall, it may not, but once it reaches operating temperature, it just wants to go and go and go. It doesn't want to stall. It's like the Energizer Bunny. I didn't have this much luck with the engine the last time I played with it. And again, wasn't expecting this. I gotta be frank here. I mean, we were off to a rough start. It didn't really want to run. It's like, no, leave me alone. I'm done. Just let me die. Let me die. I'm just an old engine. Leave me the hell alone. And it just finally said, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna run for you. I am going to make you happy. I'm gonna get it on its compression stroke. Hopefully it doesn't decide to ignite. Let's see. Actually, what I should do is I should pull the plug wire just in case it decides to fire on me. All right. Let's see. Intake. Compression. No, wait. Okay, we're on a compression stroke now. And we want to be up at the tippity top of that compression stroke. That means the piston is up all the way. The valves are closed. Nobody's home. And that's kind of what we want. Still a little bit of fuel residue in the tank, but that's alright. I'm never going to get that out of there.